So out of the 32 years I've existed, I have never gone to a professional to deal with my eyebrows. I've never gotten them waxed, threaded, nothing. But I have come to a point where I would just like to have nice eyebrows. So this is my favorite eyebrow. I feel like it has like a lot of length and shape. But then this eyebrow, she's a little unruly. Like I genuinely don't even know how I would fix my eyebrows, so I'm excited for this professional to come in. I hit up my friend Ashley and I asked her who does her brows. She gave me the contact. She only does house calls, so she's gonna be here in 15 minutes to wax my eyebrows. So should I just lie down?
Yes, please.
Okay. Oh, I'm so excited. This is immediately the after. Look how clean my brows look like now. Not a single hair out of place. Like I'm trying to figure out if this is a maintenance fee that I want to add on. Right now, I get my hair done every 4 weeks. I get my nails done every 4 weeks. Do I need to get my brows done every 4 weeks? I don't know. I'll show you guys what it looks like with makeup later. So Ben left for England, I think like 3 days ago. So it's just been me and Lennon. We've been getting a lot of quality time. We thought that this was the best way for us to really enjoy our travels away this year. So when I went to Korea with my parents, we agreed that Ben would go to England a week after to visit his family and friends. And we made the family decision to not take Lennon because he's not even 2 yet. And I think flying with a toddler is not on my list of my favorite things to do. In fact, it makes the list on the things I really don't like doing. And the thing is, I know Lennon's not enjoying the flight either. And so if we can avoid international travel, then we will. But the thing is, we are gonna go to England in the fall, all of us. And so that's gonna be like our big family trip. But we thought that, you know, for our soul, for our pleasure, we would just go on these trips on our own. And so it really strengthens that muscle of independence. It's like actually so much easier to do my brows now that they're waxed. Who would have thought? All right, so really quickly, I'm just gonna finish off the rest of my makeup. Okay, makeup is done. Oh, also, look at the brows. Look at the brows. Okay, I feel like now I could really zoom in on the brows. So tonight, I'm heading out to 2 events. First up, we've got Bobby Hundred's event. It's called As It Was. No, it's not. It's not As It Was. It's not a Harry Styles song. It's called As I Am. There we go. It's to celebrate AAPI month. I'm like actually really excited to see who will be there because I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a couple familiar faces. And then afterwards, we're gonna head on over to the Broad to check out the Keith Haring exhibition. And Kim Gordon of Sonic Youth is gonna be performing. It takes a lot for me to leave my house, especially with a child, you know, because there's just a lot more logistics going into going to events because someone needs to look out for Lennon. But yeah, tonight I just couldn't say no, and I'm actually happy that they're back to back because once we're out, we're gonna stay out. So now we gotta figure out an outfit. Let's try this on. So I'm wearing the outfit that I laid out last night and I think is pretty cute. My suit set is from JCrew, the tank is from Stylenanda, and then the long sleeve is an old Eggie item. So I think I know what's missing with this blazer. I think I would like this blazer more if there was just a little bit more personality. Like this almost looks too polished. So I am gonna transfer some pins from my pin jacket. I think that's what's like gonna give my outfit a little bit more edge. Assembling an outfit is one of my favorite parts about going out. It's because when I purchase a piece, I can imagine myself wearing it to all sorts of occasions. So when a look finally gets some airtime, it's just the most satisfying thing. It's like completing that final piece of the puzzle. This is why I love fashion. It's my armor and a form of self-expression. Okay guys, this is the finished fit. Gonna go in with my little mini Prada bag. And for my fragrance, gonna stick with Prada. Yeah, if you like florals especially that liang. I don't know how to say it. It smells amazing. It's like light, it's inviting. All right, let's go. If I get invited to someone's party, I like to take some time beforehand to see what they've been up to. This could mean a quick browse on their social media profile, and in my case, I listened to Bobby's episode on the Tim Ferriss podcast. I think it just helps to make conversation points more specific, and therefore more interesting. Plus, it shows that you care, which is always cool in my book. Entering a party is kind of like diving into a cold pool. Some folks can cannonball in and be immediately comfortable, but for most, it takes a minute to warm up. For some, it's too much and they immediately leave. It's because there's a lot of stimulation at events, but I like to try to give myself 20 minutes of grace to settle in. So I like to enjoy the food, focus on the convo, and remind myself that I belong here, just like everyone else. And then with enough exposure, you'll start feeling comfortable. Another quick way to take the edge off is to grab a drink. This was my weapon of choice usually, but tonight I opted for a Diet Coke. The plan was that after I finished this one, then I would decide if I wanted to have like a alcoholic drink or not. But honestly, I was already having a lot of fun connecting and seeing friends. The water was definitely warm now. The next stop was the Road. I highly recommend going to the Road if you are ever in LA. It is my favorite contemporary art museum and houses some of the most iconic artists in the world. And best of all, it's free. The Keith Haring exhibition was so immersive and vibrant. He was an artistic powerhouse and a main player in the pop art scene. He was a firm believer that art was for the people, so he'd create a bunch of murals on the buildings, sculptures in parks, and made art accessible to everyone. Going to the Road at night felt really special. I think it's because subconsciously it felt like I was breaking some of the rules since it's normally closed in the evenings. I don't know, it's just the perfect backdrop to share with a friend. That was a pretty successful night. More than pretty. It was an exceptional evening. I know that LA has a bad rap of people saying that it's vapid, that there's no culture, but I think that narrative is a little bit stale and a bit lazy. I think with LA, you really have to be a planner. I'm just used to structuring out the night to kind of coordinate what's gonna happen, because hopping from like neighborhood to neighborhood is a lot. Because LA is very large, so if you don't know where you're going, then that's where it gets a little bit tricky. My soul feels so enriched. I feel really inspired, actually. I'm just very grateful to exist in this time period of my life. I'm also very proud that I did not have a single drop of alcohol, and there was actually no temptation for me to drink. This would have been not possible, or this would have been extremely difficult. Even like last year, especially going to events where, you know, like there's just a lot of unknown variables. Like I didn't know who was going to be there. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just had more control and agency of what exactly was coming out of my mind. And those Diet Cokes, man, whew, that caffeine just had me flying. I'm just so happy that I'm going to wake up without a hangover tomorrow. Yes, thank you. So last week, I took an edible and I decided to do some online shopping. I also thought that it would be a great time to revamp my wardrobe. I was thinking of getting like some bold statement pieces. I'm gonna show you guys, and I'm also gonna film like a little Instagram reel wearing this because it's actually hilarious what I thought was gonna work. I don't know, I thought I wanted to be like that whimsical, cool mom. Maybe if I was like a first grade teacher, I would totally rock this because I feel like the kids would really enjoy a print like this. Yeah, I was going for wild, whimsical, and I think the design is just falling flat because it's just objectively unflattering on my body. Like it's given me nothing. I do think that it's confidence that requires an outfit to look awesome, right? Because if I just pose and smile and I say, oh my god, I love it, I love how wild it is, then suddenly it feels okay. But I don't know, I feel like with this one, I feel like the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm kind of liking it. I'm about to rip this dress in one flex. So out of everything, we have one winner. I think this is actually a good in-between of me going outside my comfort zone and also still being aligned with my style and most importantly, my frame. I feel like fashion is all about proportion and silhouette. Like, cause a design can be sick, but if it doesn't look great on your body, then there's just no point. Everyone loses. Let's return this. Hi. I just want to drop off this package. Roots are done, no bands in sight, and your girl is going out again. This whole week has been an anomaly. I usually never go out this frequently. If you couldn't tell, I'm definitely in like a see-through mesh long sleeve phase. I've just been liking to cover my arms, but still liking a breeze. And for my pants, I'm wearing the thrifted jeans that I got in Austin. And then I'm gonna wear my leather jacket. I'm gonna go with my friend Susie, and so we're gonna have like a mom's night out. I am so excited.
All these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. Friend of me, enemy. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. Friend of me, enemy. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. Friend of me, enemy. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a
Another morning with no hangover, no anxiety. Like honestly, that would be my least favorite part about going out the next morning. But now I'm starting to realize that it doesn't have to be that way because I'm putting myself in social situations where I'm surrounded by alcohol, but I'm showing myself that I actually don't really need to participate. Sure, I could have a drink, but it's actually really refreshing to not have it a part of the night. I've touched on this in previous videos, but I did have like an interesting relationship with alcohol. I didn't have like a problem, I would say, but in my 20s, I actually preferred that drunk version of myself. I thought when I was drunk, I was more funny, more charismatic, more charming. But I'm realizing that was just a story that I put in my head because when I would drink, it would get rid of all my anxiety. It would vanish. And I felt like I could just be the true emboldened me. But in reality, when I drink, it was like using a credit card. It was like, sure, all my anxiety would dissipate that evening, but then I would have to pay it back with interest the next day and the following day. It's this cycle that I just kept on finding myself in until the end of 2019, you know, that's when I started to really reevaluate my relationship with alcohol. And I think that's where the journey has begun. And now, 3 years later, I'm at a point where I feel comfortable being in environments when there's alcohol present, but still managing to have a good time. And last night, woo, it was so much fun. I feel like that was the first time I went to like a rave slash party. Yeah, like it was like a party. Like it was like my first time going to a rave without like any drinking, and it felt incredible. I think as I become more comfortable with myself, I'm proving to me that I'm fine without buffers sometimes. I mean, sure, I don't think I'm like gonna cross off alcohol forever, but it's just cool to exercise that part of me. I think also me becoming a mom has made me re-question if a drink is worth it or not. Because either way, like I'm gonna have to be with Lennon the next day, and he still wakes up at 6:30 every day. And it's the question of, do I wanna be hungover doing that? And the answer to that question is always no, absolutely not. It's literally the worst thing ever. I think I think before I had a kid, I had the flexibility to just throw away a day the next day. But now I don't. And I don't know, I think becoming a mom has just made me more responsible, and it's just kind of boiled my values down. Like, do you actually want to feel this way? I definitely am an extrovert, 100%. I love being around people. I love having a good old chat. In fact, I think I was always an extrovert, but I was just an insecure extrovert, which made me think that I was an introvert. So yeah, I feel like this is just a season of me in bloom, and it's such a good feeling. And I have been a lot more active on Instagram and producing more short form pieces of content, especially because the channel has been a little bit quiet. I had a realization on like why a lot of long form creators just ditch their channels, because creating short form content is significantly easier than long form. They both have pros and cons, but I feel like with short form, it's easier to execute your ideas and complete them faster. And so you get like a quicker dopamine rush once you finish something. But the grind is much more relentless, because every day or every couple of days, you have to come up with something new. And so everything is just like, it's more frequent ups and downs, as opposed to when you create a long form piece of content, since you're working on that piece for a long time, once you release, it does feel more cathartic because there was more effort that went into it. While I was on Instagram, I got a DM asking me how I'm able to go out without feeling any guilt about leaving my son at home. I think this is just another form of mom guilt. I'm realizing that mom guilt is just kind of this umbrella term to describe any type of guilt that you feel about being a bad mother. The guilt shows up in different ways. For me, I feel most guilty when I am working and I'm not spending time with my son. But the strange thing is, when I'm out and about and seeing friends and hanging out, I actually feel no guilt. There's like no thought in my head where I'm like, oh, like I should, like, what am I doing here? I should be with Lennon. When I'm out and about, I'm just living. Like I'm allowing myself to have that freedom, because I know ultimately it's what's making me a more embodied version of myself. It's nurturing that part of me that isn't a mother. I feel like a mom is just one role that you have. As humans, we have so much complexity to us, and we have so many roles. We're mothers, but we're also sisters, we're also daughters, we're also creators. Like if you have a job, there's so many different roles that you have. And so I feel like when I'm out and about, I am nurturing that friend role. And I know that once I get back from my time away, it actually makes me a better, more present mom, because I feel fulfilled. So I think that's what kind of helps me get out of my head if I start feeling guilty about something. I think I'm gonna call it on this vlog, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.